appreciate all of you hanging out with us. We're on the eve of the return of the NFL. We're talking about a lot of different stories out there. I would say, again, off of the top, a lot of positive stories out there about the NFL, in particular their ability to handle the coronavirus. I want to give you the latest numbers on the tests that they put out there because almost no one in the media is going to be sharing this the same way that we are. 44,510 player tests completed in the past week in the NFL. One positive. Also, on college campuses right now, there have been 26,000 reported cases of the coronavirus. Not one hospitalization of kids that are currently on college campuses. That is extraordinary. Again, the danger here to your average college kid is virtually zero. Not to say that there are not going to be people who get sick and maybe even people who die. And every time that happens, it'll be a viral story and people will say, oh my God, look at this 24-year-old who died. But if you look at the data, the reality is kids are more likely to die of the seasonal flu than they are of the coronavirus. Kids are more likely to die driving to and from school than they are from the coronavirus. They're more likely to be murdered. They're more likely to commit suicide. They're more likely to die of an alcohol or drug overdose, all by orders of magnitude than they are to die of the coronavirus. So, stories worth following indeed. Let's go ahead and also point out that the Lakers are up 2-1 on the Rockets. They're going to win that series. The Clippers are up 2-1 on the Nuggets. They're going to win that series. We've got now in the NBA the Milwaukee Bucks. They got woke. They walked out. They said we refuse to play. They got their asses kicked by the Miami Heat, losing 5 games. Their season is now complete. What's Giannis going to do will be an off-season story for those of you who are obsessed with NBA drama. And we've got the Celtics probably going to close out, I think, the Raptors tonight and go ahead and set up the Eastern Conference Final between the Celtics and the Heat. Before we get Lakers and Clippers on the other side, and you told me, Eddie Garcia, we're inching towards, right, an NHL Finals potentially between Tampa Bay and the Vegas Golden Knights. Those would be the two favorites right now. That is your latest out there in the world. I got a bunch of people who want to weigh in on this ridiculous decision by Colin Kaepernick, by Madden to put Colin Kaepernick in the video game, 877-996-6369. But we didn't talk about this yet. I wanted to get everybody's opinion. This Novak Djokovic story, him getting kicked out of the tennis tournament, does the woman who got hit by the ball, is this the biggest loser performance that we've ever seen? Like, first of all, she should have gotten out of the way and not gotten hit by the ball. Secondly, she acted like she got hit by an actual bullet as opposed to a tennis ball that wasn't hit that hard. If she just acts normal, is Novak Djokovic still playing in the U.S. Open?
I'm not sure about that. I saw some tennis experts saying that no matter who the player was, they probably would have got ejected out of the game. But what I will say is when I saw the headline saying Djokovic hit the backline
you
judge,
thought like he just crushed him.
Man, I quickly went to Twitter to watch the replay, to see the video, and he tapped the ball.
Anybody, like, she could have gotten out of the way of the ball, then she played it up she had gotten hit. It's
like when I used to punch my little brother in the shoulder.
Yeah.
If we were at home by ourselves and I did that, he would hit me back or run away or whatever kids do. But if my mom was in the living room and I did that, he would fall like a heap.
Yeah.
Like I just killed him. So, and that's what she did. She knew.
She looked like she was trying to draw a penalty kick in soccer.
Exactly.
Dub, I think this might be the most ridiculous officiating decision I've ever seen. I understand, like, the tennis sticklers are like, oh, you can't strike someone with ball. Like, he lightly hit the ball in the back door. Like, anybody with any sense of ability to know what was going on could have easily dodged that ball. And secondly, you're getting hit by a tennis ball. It's not like she got hit by a sniper. We're not talking about, Chris Kyle here lining up with the like in Iraq, like picking somebody off from a building. I mean, this is crazy.
Tennis is known as a sport that has oftentimes that had cheating scandals, especially late. I think that there's a 100% chance this lady took the field versus Novak Djokovic. I think she put all of her earnings from this tournament on the field against Novak Djokovic.
I think she might sue him. Is it pathetic that the first thing I saw when I saw her like on the ground getting medical treatment after she got hit by the tennis ball, the first thing I thought was she may sue him. And also, by the way, when you're a ball person, the balls are getting served at like 120 miles an hour. So you can't tell me that they're not getting hit regularly every now and then by tennis balls moving at a much faster rate of speed than what she got hit by.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen line judges get, like you said, smacked right in the face from a serve. And these guys serve at 130 miles per hour plus. This thing was like a softball toss. It was ridiculous. This was a page out of the Ginobili playbook by this lady. I mean, this was the biggest flop I've seen in 2020.
What about you, Eddie? I mean, you do up. I mean, like, I saw this and I was kind of like Danny G. I was like, well, he must have really whacked the tennis ball and like been aiming at the line judge. I mean, this was such a minor thing. I mean, I think it makes tennis look bad that he got. By the way, if this had been Serena, we would have like a billion think pieces about how black women aren't treated fairly in America, and this is just the latest evidence. Like if Serena had hit a tennis ball and it had caught this white woman like it happened for Novak Djokovic, this would be like the racial crime of the century, according to woke sports media. They would be like, oh, this is just an example of how even the rules are never applied evenly to black women in sports. Look at Serena, even though she's the greatest player ever. Does anybody doubt, by the way, before I go to Eddie on this, would this be a huge racial issue if Serena had hit the ball and gotten kicked out of the tournament?
Well, there's no doubt, because remember the last time she
lost
incident,
a point,
yeah,
and everybody was like, oh, this is an example of racism. Novak Djokovic may be the greatest male tennis player of all time, and he just got kicked out of a tournament that he was probably going to win because he lightly tapped the ball and happened to hit a line judge. It's crazy.
I have
Do you agree with me that if Serena does the exact same thing, hits the exact same woman, and gets disqualified from the tournament, that it would be like this would be the thought police would be out in circling and like crazy arguing this is racism?
I have zero doubt that would be the case. I'm very happy that wasn't the case, frankly, because I wouldn't want to have to hear about it. But I've been told by tennis people that this has happened bore, that like Tim Henman had this happen to him at a
nobody knows who Tim Henman is. I'm talking about the best player in the world.
I understand, but like I said, they have done this before.
They ought to fire the line judge. People are like, oh, you got to kick him out. Like, no, you should kick the line judge out for not being quick enough to dodge a slow-moving ball, and she got hit. And again,
and it wasn't on purpose. So
that's what I'm saying. Like
it's crazy.
Like and she went down,
and she screams in the video. That's her saying, "Oh, right." It's like what the hell?
Which actually I thought was really funny.
What the heck?
Because it was such an insane exaggeration. I mean, I felt like I was watching WWE or a flop in soccer. Like that later you grab the video and you're like, oh, he didn't even touch him. He took a dive in the box to try to get a penalty kick.
To kick out one of the best players in tennis for that, man, that's unbelievable.
Clearly you've never been hit in the Adam's apple.
I mean, first of all, if you get hit in the Adam's apple, it's your fault.
Well, she doesn't have an Adam's apple, does she? I mean,
yeah, that's a good point. But also, like I always say, like if the ball hits you, and it hits you in a place where you should. First of all, it wasn't like it was coming 150 miles an hour, right? Okay,
no.
Like he hit an underhand, like knocked the ball away, and like
it was a tap.
It was a tap, right? Yeah. How did she not see this ball coming? Is she blind? Like, how do you take that right in the throat? I mean, to me, you got to fire the ball guy, like or ball girl, whatever you want to call him. If you are unable to dodge a underhand tennis ball being hit in your direction, you aren't equipped to be a ball person. And by the way, this is like the Seinfeld where Kramer was a ball boy. How old is this chick? Like, I thought they only had kids who were ball people. Like, this chick is like 50. Like, why do they even have grown adults chasing around tennis balls at a tennis tournament?
She's a career ball woman.
This should be a job.
She loves balls.
This should be a job that only kids and teenagers can have. Like, why do we have a 50-year-old ball girl? And again, why does she not get fired? I think she should get fired on the spot for taking a tennis ball in the throat that was hit underhanded. She's not able to do the job. Not able to do the job. If that's tough love, I'm sorry. You tell me right now, you either have to fire the girl who got hit by the ball or kick Novak Djokovic out of the tournament. I'm firing the person who got hit by the ball.
You're fired.
That's all right. I'm firing. Like, you dodge the ball. What's the line from dodgeball? If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a wrench,
you can dodge a ball.
I mean, you get hit in the face by a tennis ball at a tennis tournament, that's on you. Anyway, I had to get that out. I mean, I'm still fired up about this. I don't understand how this happened, and people are like, yeah, well, that's a violation of the rule. Like, the whole purpose of rules is to apply them in an intelligent way. Like, people out there who are like, well, a rule is a rule. No. A rule has to be applied in an intelligent way. If he had been, like, trying to hit her, I'd be like, okay, yeah, you probably have to give him a penalty of some way. And by the way, even if he was trying to hit her, I don't know that I would kick him out of the tournament. I mean, I guess it kind of sucks. But imagine if, like, in an NFL game, if somebody scored a touchdown and or gave up a touchdown and they were angry and they picked up the football and they just threw it and it hit like a random ball boy and then they got kicked out of the game. You'd be like, what? Like, imagine this. Patrick Mahomes on Thursday night, he scores, and as a celebration or he throws an interception, he's got the ball, whatever. He just wings the ball, like, not even throwing it full speed, but just throws it, and it hits like a boom mic guy on the sideline, and they kicked him out of the game. You'd be like, what? Like, you'd be like, that's crazy. I can't get over how absurd this is.
Okay, what's more absurd, that or Mike Rizzo, the GM of the Nats, getting kicked out of a game for not wearing a mask by Joe West?
Oh,
yeah,
up
that's
in a
crazy.
skybox.
Yeah, in a skybox. I mean, that's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, that's funny at least, but at least he doesn't impact. At least he doesn't impact the actual result on the field. It's ridiculous. But when you kick out the guy who would have otherwise won the tournament, it's just absurd. Anyway, I want to get that off my chest. Anyway, does anybody disagree? If you had to, let's go around the horn. If you had to choose, you're going to kick the line judge out for getting hit by the ball or Djokovic out for hitting the ball that hit the line judge. Which do you pick?
Oh, she should get fired.
Yeah.
I mean, either you get out of the way, or if that does hit you, it's not going to hurt. Come on.
Sack up, and you're not like collapsing, needing medical treatment after you get hit by an underhanded tennis ball.
It's a tennis ball, not a golf ball going 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. Like, when you stand along the golf course, like, how often do guys get hit by golf balls, and all we ask for a golfer to do is just sign a glove? They get crushed by a golf ball. It could kill them.
You ever got hit by a golf ball, Dub?
No, I haven't. But yeah, like Clay said, Mickelson will fire one off way left and he'll hit some guy right in the temple, and all he does is sign a glove, and the guy's happy about it.
Like, happy. He's like, yes, all right.
Well,
he's got a big welt
though.
on his head. I mean, sometimes people have to get, like, treatment, right? Like, there's blood. Like, I mean, the golf ball, if you ever gotten hit by a golf ball, you just, like, I mean, it hurts. Like, even just throwing a golf ball and hitting somebody if you're not paying attention. All right, I'll give you credit. You deserve some medical treatment there. Do you agree if you had to choose the line judge or Djokovic, the line judge has to lose her job?
I agree, and I want John Brinkus to do like a sports science on this to see exactly how fast that ball was moving
I would love
and
to
the
see that
force
too.
of anything, just to show like how ridiculous this lady's reaction actually was.
Yeah, that's a great point. I would like to see how fast the ball was going. And, I mean, again, I just argue, like, she should have to be able to get out of the way. That should be a test. Was she with the line judge, or was she like the ball girl, or whatever she was? Like, I fire her. Do you fire her, Eddie Garcia, or kick Djokovic out of the game?
I would fire her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's fired.
Has anybody else even argued this? Like, maybe it's just because tennis isn't that high up on the flow chart of sports that people care about. But this is one of the most outrageous things I've ever seen from an officiating perspective. To kick a guy out who was going to win the tournament because he lightly hit the ball, which they do every time, right? Whenever you're finished serving, this is commonplace. Like, guys take whatever ball they have left in their pockets to get ready to return serve and, like, knock them back, off the court so they can get picked up.
It's pretty draconian, though. I mean, right? I mean, maybe a fine or take a point away, but to actually disqualify him from the tournament, that seems pretty severe.
I mean, it's maybe the most unbelievable. Like, I watched this video and my jaw dropped. I think it's the most ridiculous outcome I've ever seen from an officiate. Like, when you consider seriousness of violation with seriousness of penalty, I'm not sure I've seen a more severe penalty for a less significant on court, on field, on whatever it is in the game itself. I'm not sure I've ever seen a more draconian result for a less significant event. I'm trying to think of a situation like this, and I can't. I mean, in golf, sometimes there are ridiculous stroke penalties. Oh, the ball moved. Oh, you addressed the ball and you were in a hazard, whatever it might be. But that's one stroke. They don't evict you from the entire tournament. I've never seen anything like it. Do we still have people who want to weigh in on Kaepernick, or should I go to break?
We got a few guys. It's up to you.
Let's go to them quick here, really quick.
All right, we got Matt in North Carolina.
Matt, what you got for me?
So you can look up all of the Madden ratings, the past ones, online. And I was skeptical when I first heard you talking about it this morning. But you look it up. The last time he was in Madden was in 2016 in Madden 17. He was a 74. So he takes this many years off, and now he's an 81. Thanks for.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, that's what I said. For those of you who don't know, Colin Kaepernick, they put him in the Madden video game, even though he's not playing, and they rated him better than half of the starters in the NFL, including Kyler Murray, Cam Newton, Ryan Tannehill, and Jared Goff. He's the same rating as future NFL Hall of Famer Ben Roethlisberger. It's crazy. Who's up next?
We got Kenneth in Pasadena.
Kenneth, what you got for me?
Hey, good morning. I was calling as far as the Kaepernick situation to say, man, you guys are acting like he's Adolf Hitler or something. The way, I will buy it for my kids because he's on there. He gave up his career. Come on, Clay, have a heart, man. Dang.
He gave up his career and he makes more money to not play. I'll give up my career Kenneth. If you tell me right now, Clay Travis, you have to give up your radio career, but you're going to make way more money than you do by doing radio, I'll give up my radio career. Would that make me a hero?
Okay, but do you believe he knew at the time when his career was taken from him that he would be making
his career
money
wasn't taken? No, his career. Stop. I don't want to have the argument about Colin Kaepernick. Thanks for the call. Look, the reason why he doesn't have a career is because he sucks at football, and he decided to make a political statement while sucking at football. If Aaron Rodgers had wanted to come out and take a knee to support ISIS, he would still be playing in the NFL because he's Aaron freaking Rodgers. If Patrick Mahomes tomorrow, decided to take a knee, and he took a knee because he said, I don't believe gay marriage should be legal, he would still be playing in the NFL. Or if he took a knee because he doesn't believe that abortion should be legal. Or if he took a knee because he believes that polygamy should be legal, and it isn't right now. He would still be playing in the NFL because his talent exceeds the distraction and the problems that he creates. Colin Kaepernick got beaten out by Blaine Gabbert. Is Blaine Gabbert still in the league? The dude got more money not to play than he ever would have to play. And oh, by the way, I don't think he wants to play. He wants to be a martyr. And again, the point is, Madden ostensibly rates every player as honestly as they possibly can based on their football ability. Nothing else matters in the Madden game. Your football ability. And yet they're going to argue that a guy who hasn't played in 4 years is better than half the starters in the NFL? It's lunacy. And as a result, I'm not going to buy the video game for my kids. Who's up next? Anybody else want to weigh in?
Yeah, one more. We got Andrea in Ohio.
Andrea, what you got?
Hi. So I have 3 boys, and, they play a little bit of video games. They're a little bit older than yours, Clay. And the extent of my knowledge of Madden just sort of comes from them, which isn't much. They don't talk much about it. But I was thinking that, you were talking about the, I just feel like even if they're losing people, they feel like they are gaining more through the sort of indoctrination of the kids who are watching, who are playing it. Because most parents, unless they're listening to your show, have no clue about this.
That's right. That's right. Well, thanks for the call. And that's why I'm saying it's propaganda. It is inauthentic, dishonest propaganda. The idea that he is in any way better than Kyler Murray, Cam Newton, Ryan Tannehill, or Jared Goff is pure lunacy. And if your argument is the game is as accurate as it could possibly be, that's fundamentally dishonest. What you are doing is propagandizing using your game as a method to do that. And as a result, you're not going to get my $60. I've probably bought Madden for my boys. They're 12, 9, and 5, probably the last 5 or 6 years. That's $300 that I've given them to EA Sports. I'm not paying for it this year. Just not going to do it. because they're propagandizing and I'm choosing not to give them my money. And that's how markets work. And I don't understand how businesses are making these decisions that are alienating customers time after time after time. It's pure lunacy.